Good evening, YouTube. H0 here, back with another quick movie review, and this one's definitely gonna be a long one, because this is like another classic movie, very classic, in Hong Kong, cinema and in American cinema. This is Enter the Dragon, starring Bruce Lee, John Saxon, I believe, my bad, and Jim Kelly. Uh, I can't remember the guy that plays Bolo in this, but he's pretty known. He's also going to be in Bloodsport that we're going to review later. He plays Chong Lee, the Korean, fighter. Um, who else is in this? Jackie Chan has a slight cameo. You blink, you'll miss it. And I know it's somebody else. The guy that played O'Hara in this, he's also kind of known. And wow, it just started playing. Um, I think I'm missing out. Oh, the master at the monastery. He's a known actor as well. Of course, he's not alive anymore, but he's in Bloodsport as well. He plays the master that taught Frank Dukes, and he's also in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, playing one of the Shanghai gangsters. And the list probably goes on and on. You don't know his name, but you've seen his face if you grew up in that era watching all those films. And Sammo Hung also has a slight cameo in the beginning, fighting Bruce. Wearing the I like to call it the black underwear with the boxing attire, whatever, uh, whatever you call that. But pretty much the plot of this movie is three main martial artists go to this unknown island to fight in this tournament, ran by a former monk of the monastery, and I think it's a drug ring, uh, where he's cooking up opium, and there's a whole big international, you know, uh, trade with him, if you can call it that. My apologies, I'm a little bit tired if I'm slurring, but it's pretty unique on the whole story. With the last one, you dealt with another drug, kingpin as well, except with this one, they gave him a little bit more layers and a little bit more character. And with Lee's character, he plays a operative, I believe, or someone in law enforcement. I'm not really too sure about Jim Kelly's character or John Sexton or Saxon. I keep saying that, but I believe that they could have been in on it just a fight in the tournament. I don't know if they really went into detail why they were there, but this is pretty much that was pretty much the whole story. Um, this movie has a lot more interesting things that went on behind the scenes, and this thing keeps playing. But the first known fact, what a lot of people don't know about this movie, this is the first kung fu or kung fu movie made by Warner Brothers. So, and it's kind of cool that, today they indirectly still do a little bit more, wouldn't say kung fu, but, it was a start of doing action films under their belt a little bit differently. Of course, when we get to the Matrix, we'll talk about that kung fu team and how, extraordinary they were, and also in between that, some other films as well. But it was pretty much an American Chinese collaboration, and you saw it, with the two actors, and of course, with Lee being Chinese American, he was a nice little bridge that had, gapped everything. And the other cool fact about, this movie, along with other films, my favorite video game and a lot of video games, Mortal Kombat, is slightly based, or the influence you can see off of this. Of course, there's Bloodsport, which was the start, with John Wall Clan Dam, and of course Johnny Cage looking like him. But if you look at this one, you got three main protagonists going to a mysterious island to fight an old man. That's pretty much Mortal Kombat, except for the whole mysticism. And then, of course, the other films that were influenced on that game, at least the first one, was Trouble in Little China, I believe, with the Raiden character. and of course the first Terminator with Kano, the eye plant, guy with the laser and everything. And it's kind of cool of an influence of how films have a reflection on other media as well, and vice versa. Uh, and Damn, I've run out of things to say. I'm thinking about some other facts. Damn, I wonder what else can I say. I expected this video to go a little bit longer, but this thing stopped playing. But oh, I know some more. I think Lee had, yeah, well, I think, but Lee had choreographed, some of the fights on this. I wonder if Jackie Chan did since he was there. He was in a scene in the jail cell when he had grabs when Lee like grabs his arm or something like that. It was a funny story because behind the scenes I heard they were training or something, and Jackie Chan said he actually got kicked in the head by Bruce, and Bruce was so apologetic, started kissing his forehead and shit. And I was like, man, if I ever got kicked by Bruce Lee and I survived, I'd be happy to tell that story. Um, it's just like saying you got punched by Mike Tyson and you got back up. Yeah, he ain't knock you out. But other good influence, and I might talk more about Bruce a little bit with the whole Wong Jackman thing because it was a story that behind the scenes, some guy was like talking all this shit saying he wasn't a real martial artist and had tried to challenge him. And the good thing is that, and I think this was still a fear and intimidation tactic because most people, of course, will want to kick that kid's ass. But Linda has said that he showed him some forms or something like that, and he blew his mind and he knew, oh, okay, this guy is for real about his shit and I shouldn't fuck with him. And that's good because it's just like you saying, you talking all this shit about watching Michael Jai White's, movies, and you saying all that shit is fake, and then you get in front of him and he actually knows all those forms, and that shit he did with Kimbo Slice, that's a good indicator you shouldn't fuck with this dude. Yeah, so you know, the dope thing about Bruce is that, of course, Master Saifu Ip Man had taught him, the first form, which was Chinese boxing, which is also called Wing Chun. And then the cooler, unique thing of what Bruce said, and it goes back to Bloodsport a little bit, is that he was saying you should never limit yourself to one way of fighting, to keep an open mind. And the cool thing is that Bruce, he knew multiple forms, even though he declared, I don't think he ever stated he was a master of any of them, even with the Wing Chun. But he knew, what was it? It was Gung Fu, and it was a little bit of wrestling. If you see this movie, he does a few wrestling moves, mainly with the overhead throws. I think he said he did. I know he did karate and taekwondo, and I know it was another martial art, but that's pretty much 5 right there. And the dope thing is that someone in the boxing world, I couldn't remember who it was, said he had sparred with him, and he said that if his movie career didn't go out, he definitely could have been a professional boxer, and that would have been interesting because Michael Jai White has stated on Vlad TV that Bruce only weighed like 130 something pounds, like 35 or 38, but he had more muscle than he did anything. And it's funny because I'm around in that weight, but I don't have that much muscle. If anything, I think even one of my uncles who does martial arts, he said that most likely my strength will be in me kicking people, because I walk a lot, I don't have a car, and I have a lot of leg strength, and I'm burning that cardio and everything. And of course, I remember in high school, I wanted to run, for cross country, and I even chased one of the dudes around the whole school, and I kept up with him. But it's funny because it's actually Michael Jai White's first mistake is that he said he would be able to beat him, and then Time Max said he should have never said that, because we saw Bruce as a master for a reason. He fought other masters, some that even weighed more than him, the 1 inch punch, and to be honest, if he was alive today, I think he would have done like Ryu from Street Fighter. He would have traveled the world, to know more forms, because even with me doing my martial arts comic book a little bit, you know, well, it's many other things in martial arts, but I had to research certain fighting styles, and some of them I never even heard of. I don't think the world even heard of them. There was one fighting style, I think it was from Yu Hakusho. I think it was called Reiko Rishuyuken, and it deals with a lot of good footwork. I think it's a little bit cross between karate and taekwondo, but in both they punch as much as they kick, but the focus is more on those strong stance, robotic kick strikes, that both forms utilize. And Taekwondo does, a lot. We got a lot of cross kicks, straight kicks, hop kicks, spinning back kicks. So, uh, and of course, other styles like, Sambo, Valtudo, all that I had to research. Even some of the Muay Thai that's over in Thailand is a lot more different than what you see on UFC. So, I've seen some of the training that those Muay Thai guys do, and they're like kicking, what was it, bamboo, a lot of shit, to strengthen their knees, and any kick you get from them will literally fuck you up. You know, um, I don't know what the training here is in America, but when I saw some of those videos, that they post, in Thai, and I'm watching this shit, I'm like, yeah, I really don't want to watch UFC anymore. I really want to see a fight where, it's this, and something is broken. I seen one guy, it looked like a basic sweep he did. He broke dude's, freaking foot. It was dangling like jelly, like this. And I can go on and on, with the different forms, crane, uh what was it, Toso, I think it's called Tauso Do, snake, the list goes on and on. You can research that, and the best thing to do is, of course, go to the other countries if you have that kind of time, well, when Corona lifts, hopefully, and go and talk to the locals and find out about those styles, because it's very, very unique. A lot of them are pretty much the same. It's just that someone had took it and had adopted it to their own, like the whole Brazilian jiu-jitsu. There are belt classes, but I think in Japan it's more belts, and I think in what the Brazilian is, it's Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I think it's like less belts. Again, I could be wrong. One of you, if you're a martial arts enthusiast, you can correct me on it. But going back with the whole principle of martial arts, one of my coworkers had told me this, and I really do believe it. Uh, it really, with the black man, of how they said everything was stolen from him, even martial arts to an extent was, and it's funny because what I found out from one of my brother's senseis who he used to study with, that did I think it was Kempo and Ujitsu, you know, um, not of course, to allude to what I said about the black man, but he told me that karate had came from India. It originated in India, and Japan had pretty much just took it and just came up with a whole classified system for it. And again, I'm not shocked because there are some martial arts in India as well. I don't know if yoga is, but there was another one. I can't remember the name of it, but I gave it to one of my characters. I wrote it down in my notes, and I have to go back and look it up. But they said that, or he said that it originated from India. Some of the blocking strikes were kind of similar with their fighting. It's just that, of course, Japan, in a certain point in history had took it, and or whoever the Japanese person was, and had classified and had broke down and did their whole system, and you know, again, I got to look more into that. I know I referenced it in one of my books, but the list goes on and on. Uh, a lot of those ninja tools, there were actually tools like the kunai and the shuriken, and he even told me that the nunchucks were tools as well. The nunchucks were used to beat away some of the tall stalks, one of their crops or something like that. And and of course the nunchucks were alluding back to Bruce Lee. That was one of his most signature, weapon. But it was, if you look at the way you're supposed to spin them, it looks like you're beating down not just an opponent, but you know something tall in front of you. Yeah. So as I got older, I got more a little bit into nunchucks. When I was younger, I didn't, mainly because of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I didn't, yeah, I wasn't a much fan of Michelangelo having. I think he had the lamest weapon out of all four of them. But it wasn't until I watched Naruto and I saw Rock Lee beat the shit out of people with nunchucks. Actually, it was more a guy sensei. He was pretty dope. And of course, playing a video game, I love nunchucks even a little bit more. If I had time to train with them, I would. One of my friends from uh, AI, the Art Institute. Shout out to Red, and if he hears me say this here in ATL, but he was really good, at doing the nunchucks. I don't know if he does them now. Me, I was more of a sword and knife guy, so either throwing them or stabbing people. But that's just my little whole banter and rant. Again, we can talk in the comments about this movie or anything else, or if you want to correct me on anything. But other than that, I will see you guys in the next review. Peace.